Ordinarily, I have these lovely ladies clean and wash my royal feet every morning. You really pamper those tender toes, don't you? But you know what? It's been a little rough as of late, hasn't it? That's right. And the reason is this. I haven't washed my feet in over 2 weeks. And I don't plan on washing them until after the King of the Ring tournament.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our little corner of the internet, and welcome back to the Taking Liberties Pro Wrestling Podcast.
We're back with episode number 26.
Episode number 26. Hell yeah. We told you guys, consistency is here. You just had to give us a little bit of time.
A good bit of time.
Just a little bit.
But we had that time, and now we have time to bring you content to help you pass time.
Exactly. We're on a consistent basis, and we couldn't be happier. And speaking of happiness,
We got some people to thank.
yeah, we got some people to thank.
So we've been, we investigate our analytics to, so we can get a general idea of how our podcast is doing, our highs and our lows, and what kind of platforms people listen to us on and where they listen to us from.
That's true.
And there's been some interesting developments since the beginning of this Taking Liberties Pro Wrestling podcast venture that you began and I hopped on. You see, so apparently, and now this may not seem like a lot, but to us, this is pretty impressive.
I would think so. Yeah.
1% of our entire audience are in Germany.
Yes.
And now there are also other European countries that we have listeners in, including England, the Netherlands,
Yes.
and there's one more.
Yeah.
Ireland.
That's
Those
true, yeah.
boys in Ireland. We know you're listening. Thank you for your support.
Especially thank you to our German folks, though, because you're 1% of our entire listenership. So that's pretty crazy.
That's pretty sick. We hope to continue to grow all over the world because, we are simply international.
You damn right.
You're damn right.
We have that international appeal.
Right. And if anyone out there is trying to find us, you can look us up on Twitter, twitter.com/TLProWrestPod. If you're feeling a little extra generous, maybe you want to throw $1 or $2 our way, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TLProWrestPod. All donations are appreciated, never required. Big thank you to our two $10 patrons, the Liberty Takers, Nick and Max. We had Max on the show 2 weeks ago.
Was
2 weeks ago?
Damn,
Yep.
Was it already 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Shouts out to him.
Yeah.
And you can also find the podcast on all kinds of platforms like
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Blueberry, Owl, and of course,
Bullhorn. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So those are just many, many places you can find it. Also, speaking of the Apple portion, don't forget to go ahead and leave those Apple reviews for
Yes,
us.
sir. Leave a 5 stars. Say something mean, something nice, something funny,
All right.
something interesting. We don't care. We'll read it right here on the show. We appreciate it. We have 6 5-star ratings as of this episode. We hope to see 7 or 8 by the next. So I'm telling you, everyone who's listening right now, as you're listening to this, you're probably on your phone, maybe on a laptop or something. I don't know. Bring your cute little ass on over to goddamn iTunes. Find us on the store. Leave us a review. We'll thank you in advance, and we'll read it when we see it.
And if you're one of our German folk listening, go ahead and also leave that review. We
Let us know.
right. Let us know. I think that's it. So without further ado, we can go ahead and hop on into TNA Impact from May
27th,
27th,
2005.
May 27th, 2005. See, there's a whole chunk on Impact Plus missing, so it threw me off. So we're gonna have to figure something
Yeah, we
out.
have to figure out how we're gonna watch all of June, leading up to Slammiversary.
Yeah, it's
Bro,
really fucked
how
up.
fucked is it that you can't even watch the build
Yeah.
to Slammiversary 2005 on Impact Plus? We got one episode out of all of it.
Yeah, it's actually really fucked up. So this show starts with just a recap package of the Abyss and Jarrett bullshit. It shows
Yeah, the
Abyss
shenanigans.
joining and then turning on Jarrett and his gang. That's pretty much all there is to it. And then the fucking building explodes. Just
Super
fucking
dummy pyro as
dummy,
usual.
crack, nasty
Room is
pyro galore.
Room is full of smoke until
Yeah.
like midway.
Yeah, I don't know how they were breathing in there.
So then 3 Live Crew hits the ring. BG gets the mic, starts doing his little shtick, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Yeah, but King says, fuck that.
Yep.
Listen, dude, we have problems.
Yeah, he said, now you want to talk? If you're going to talk to me.
Yeah, you ain't talking the talk and walking the walk. You were walking and talking and shooting all town and fucking whatever. And then America's Most Wanted comes out the other tunnel. Honestly, I was pretty excited for this match just to see Ron Killings work with these two dudes.
Yeah.
BG goes for a handshake and gut kicks James Storm's super babyface stuff right there. Killings doesn't want to stick his hand out for the tag at this point, so BG slaps that boy's chest. He lets him know you're in this match, dude.
Yeah, he had Storm in a fucking headlock and just slapped Killings on the chest. There was a couple of points when I was watching the show that it started fucking doing a hop skipping and an audio cutting for me. So
that just didn't happen for me.
So parts of this were a bit weird for me. There was one point where BG was going for a hip toss on Storm, and I just didn't see the impact. Like, I saw him go for the hip toss, and then I heard the slam,
And didn't see
and
it.
I didn't see anything. I was like, oh, that's fucked up. So, yeah, I had some problems with Impact Plus, and I watched it on 2 different devices, and it wasn't my internet, because I was sitting right next to the fucking router. So I don't know what that's about. And my internet's fairly good for what I pay. So
Yeah. Well, lucky for you, I got the full skinny on the deets. So we got so BG tags in Killings, AMW starts to get an advantage. Killings starts fighting back. Universal bullshit spot into a main event Thez press by Chris Harris.
yeah, he did a Thez
He
press,
did the whole thing on him.
and then Killings immediately no-sold it and hit the lie detector. And then Harris no-sold that and then started beating up Killings again. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
They're working. Don't you know? That's what these fans live for. They want to see fucking dudes doing shit.
So, yeah, I said after the lie detector, James immediately undoes the hard work that Killings did, and then he gets tagged in by Harris.
Yeah, so Harris immediately
and he
just
just
fucking comes back
shit
on
cans
him.
him. Yeah.
Just immediately comes back on him. Harris tags a Storm. They stomp a fucking mud hole. And bro, they like stomp this dude out.
Yeah, just fucking on.
Stomped him out. Brawling breaks out after both teams get a tag. Full schmoz.
Yeah.
Storm slides a chair into the ring for Harris, but Killings gets an axe kick to Harris, who lands face first on the chair. So 3 Live Crew win.
Right after that, Killings gets a mic, and then he's like, yo, BG, what the fuck, bro? If you got something to say, you need to go ahead and say it. And then Outlaw rushes the ring. BG pushes Killings out of the way, and
For some reason, I guess commentary sold it like Killings didn't realize what happened, despite seeing what happened.
yeah.
Like clearly so like commentary is telling me one thing, but the truth here is that Killings doesn't care.
Yeah, Killings doesn't care. So
He wants an explanation.
because the thing is, BG or Outlaw tries to attack Killings, BG pushes Killings out of the way, and then Outlaw gets bum rushed. And then, K-Dog returns.
Yep, big
Does-
Conan comes
does-
through, starts beating the shit up, beating with
Does
shoes.
the roll they call the Rolling Thunder. I kind of cringed a bit. And then he throws the shoot, and then he starts doing the shoe things.
and then he gets shoes from the crowd.
Right. And then Killings and Conan start beating up on Outlaw. For some reason, it looks like BG's trying to break it up, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
then who was it? Was it Conan or was it Killings who like shoved? I think it was Killings who shoved him back, right?
Yeah,
Because
Killings shoved him
that's
off,
when
then he walked
That's when
out.
commentary was like, "Oh, they don't know that he saved him." Actually,
Yeah, they're trying to sell it differently.
it was real
Yeah,
weird.
but Killings fucking pushed BG and was like, "Fuck this shit," and left.
Right. I mean, clearly Killings doesn't care because Outlaw is the source of all the problems that has been happening with 3 Live Crew.
Genuinely, I mean that's how it's been since Outlaws come into the company. Like since the
Like,
moment
genuinely.
he came in.
Genuinely, yeah.
And so then we see some promo packages to promote Slammiversary coming up on June the 19th. And then we have Terry Taylor backstage. He has a very, very busy night tonight.
Yeah.
He's backstage with AMW, and they are super heated, mad at each other, mad at the tag division. But then James Storm says, listen, brother, we're going to do something different. We're going to beat these Team Canada, not Team Canada, who the fuck are they facing?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Whoever the fuck they're dealing with. 3 Live Crew, whoever the fuck, the Naturals, the creator wrestlers, whoever. They're going to beat them, fuck them, stack them, pin them.
This whole promo was just a we're turning heel promo.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do this. We're going to do something different now. God damn it. Tell me all.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what that was. And then we move on to Zach Gowen's TNA Impact in-ring debut.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see him again, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I was surprised. We had Zach Gowen versus Romeo.
I mean, there's really nothing to say in this match. This match went exactly how you expected. Zach Gowen, the one-legged man, got his ass kicked. There was a fucking lariat where Romeo decapitated him, and then Zach Gowen hits a tornado DDT, a leg lariat, and then a moonsault for the win. Like, that's it. He got his ass kicked until he didn't.
Yeah, so, I mean, literally the very first thing I wrote in my notes for this match was, Zach does some one-legged things.
Yeah.
Romeo gets on top for heat. They fight back and forth. Fucking tornado DDT, lariat, moonsault, LOL, Zach Gowen wins.
Yeah, I mean, okay, 2 things. One, I thought it was a bit weird that Zach Gowen immediately handicapped himself by taking off his leg before he got in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But how fucking much of a jabroni is this Romeo guy?
To lose to a one-legged
That he
man.
not only lost to a one-legged man, he lost to a one-legged man after getting in all the offense.
Yeah, he worked them and then lost to like 2 moves.
This dude sucks.
I think genuinely Zach Gowen hit 4 moves in this entire match.
He hit
like a drop kick. He hit some other shit.
Yeah, he hit 4 moves. He hit a drop kick, and then he hit his last 3 moves: the tornado DDT, the leg lariat, and the moonsault. That was it.
Yeah. And then we come back with Terry Taylor, and he's with Chris Sabin. Of course, he has to ask him about Michael Shane and Tracy and all their horniness.
Because you know that can't ever end, and then they were just fucking in the ring and whatnot.
Yeah. So then Trinity comes up and tells Sabin that they need to work together to solve whatever issues they have with these 2 Goombas. Taylor asked the boys in the fucking truck to play some footage of Shane getting all horny last week.
Yeah.
And then Chris Sabin tries to shake on an alliance, a purely professional partnership with Trinity. But she says, "Oh, I'll shake on it." And she shakes her titties at him and walks away. And I thought that was really weird. And it seemed like even she didn't want to do that.
Yeah, TNA.
Like, the look on her face was very, like, bothered.
That was the T portion of TNA.
True. And then we have Scott D'Amore, who joins the commentary desk, and today seemed straight up mad that Scott D'Amore was there. Yeah. Like, when Scott got to the table, he was like, "Oh, hello, boys. I'm Canadian, you see, and I'm Canadian, and I'm Canadian." And today I was like, "You fucking Canadian! You fucking get away right now!"
Team Canada scumbag. Yeah,
Piece
pretty
of
much.
shit! I fucking hate you, and you're gonna own this company and fucking
So this next match sucked.
Well, okay, so
I did not enjoy it at all.
No, and there's only one thing I got out of this match. But we had Bruno Sassy of Phi Delta Slam, who I don't remember. I feel like I haven't seen them since before lockdown. Genuinely, like what? Like
I mean, they were on
what? Destination X.
They were
was
on
like
the last pay-per-view that we reviewed, and then before then, I can't even remember.
Destination X.
Yeah, so.
When they fought the Disciple.
Yeah,
dudes.
yeah.
Yeah, so we had Bruno Sassy of Phi Delta Slam versus incredibly over Lance Hoyt.
Hoytomania is running wild, brother.
Incredibly over. Of course, bunch of cheating from Phi Delta Slam because you got to get sympathy on the big Lance Hoyt. Bunch of shit. Crappy snapmare into a super stiff face stomp by Bruno. Hoyt comes back, hits a big boot. Beautiful moonsault. 1, 2, 3. Hoyt then immediately gets attacked by the other dude in Phi Delta Slam. He boots that fucking geek.
Yeah.
Then Scott D'Amore gets a mic, lets Hoyt know that's anniversary. Bobby Roode's going to teach him a very painful lesson. He's going to teach him to be a little bitch because he's going to be submissive and breedable.
True. And he's going to take him with his body.
True. So then D'Amore threatens to take care of Lance Hoyt himself. and that allows Bobby Roode to attack from behind with the flag-wrapped hockey stick, and they beat the dog piss out of Lance White while the bell constantly rings. Constantly ding 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 for just the entire time, just ringing the bell, ringing the bell, ringing the bell, ringing the bell.
I remember as this was happening, I was using the bathroom, and the bell started ringing. I was like, no, I can't do anything.
Had to listen to it.
I just had to listen to it. I was like, fuck.
They got you. And so we come up from commercial after the segment to TNA, bring us to some exclusive footage from after Raven quit TNA last week. Because, you know, he doesn't work for us anymore, but we're still going to promote him.
Yes.
So, of course, Raven gets in his, what was it, a truck or whatever?
Whatever.
Tries to run over a cameraman, gets out, starts talking his Raven talk, cuts a promo on the dude, laid it on the ground. Fucking, I don't have any more allegiances, yada yada, human cancer, strikes his pose, quote the Raven nevermore, gets in his car and runs over the fucking cameraman or whatever. I don't know, he probably did it.
Raven's promos have been very miss.
Raven's been very... It's fun because I really like Raven and I love his work. Yeah. But like, I feel like at this point in his TNA run, he's feeling complacent, not trying, apathetic, as a Raven is.
So next up, we got the most fucking generic SmackDown versus Raw 2008 match. That like,
oh, hold on now, we got to get back to Terry Taylor.
Oh,
he's with the creator wrestlers,
true.
The Naturals. They don't expect things to get easier now that they have a tag champions, and that he gave them some advice for facing Team Canada at Slammiversary. And of course, we're all wondering, who's he?
Him.
Capital H.
Yeah.
God himself.
True. So yeah, now we go into the match that is just fucking...
So we have Lex Lovett and David Young versus the Naturals. And dude, where the fuck is Buck? Genuinely, where is he? I miss my man. Anyone knows, because everyone knows that wants to know, that Buck Quartermain is TL certified.
I mean, we got debated twice.
Yes, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So, fucking regular shitty ass fucking TNA tag match. Whole bunch of shit. Jobbers get some heat. Then there's a botched hot tag, but it was super botched.
Yeah.
What? It was Andy Douglas was reaching out to Chase Stevens, and they completely missed the tag, but the ref called it anyway. After they fumbled around for a second trying to get a tag but couldn't.
TNA.
Yeah, so Chase Stevens comes in, clears them out. Lovett does some shit. Andy Douglas is there. They hit the natural disaster for the win. After the bell, Team Canada attacks. Pretty standard too. At this point,
I mean, immediately, but like, who are the heels?
Well, I mean, at this point, I think we're supposed to think the Naturals are baby faces.
But they're clearly and definitely not.
Look, man. Listen here, kid. You see, the notion of heel and face are quite antiquated. You see, in pro wrestling, there's never really any true heels or faces. Just, shades of kayfabe.
Sure, bro. Sure.
See, that's what AEW Marks on Twitter told me.
I mean, that's what Marks have been saying for like the last 10, 12 years. So, whatever.
And then we're back with Terry Taylor for an interview with Jeff Jarrett and Monty Brown. He asked if Jarrett is concerned about a business betrayal of him and Monty Brown last week. He's like, no way, slap nuts. I'm going to slap his nuts and slap his nuts. And I'm going to win the King of the Mountain match.
And then
stroke him. And I'm going to stroke him. And I'm going to slap his nuts while I stroke him.
Yeah.
That's what he's...
Real weird.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, so Jarrett says a bunch of shit, walks away. And then Terry looks at Monty Brown and asks him, how do you feel? And Monty Brown says, well, I don't know anything about being the king of a mountain. But I do know something about being the alpha male. And he walks away.
Yeah.
And then we immediately move into the main event of this episode of Impact. where we have Monty Brown and Jeff Jarrett versus AJ Styles and Sean Waltman.
So this match wasn't terrible, aside obviously from the bad officiating. I mean, it was just a standard pro wrestling match or tag team match. It wasn't a good one. Don't get me wrong. It was just standard. You know, the heels get all the heat on the baby faces for a while until
I mean, especially when you look at the majority of the match, Waltman's taking a ton of heat.
He's taking a ton of heat.
And of course, the point is to get the crowd to really, really, really want AJ Styles in this match. Of course, that's the point.
Yeah.
So, of course, Bonnie Brown comes out. Rope lines still be hitting.
True.
Waltman kind of moving around like a weirdo during his entrance.
Probably hit a couple of lines before he came out too.
He probably hit a couple of lines on the little tunnel.
Yeah.
All over the tunnel. Maybe it was all that smoke was just vaporized crack.
Could have been.
Yeah, so he's moving all weird. At the beginning of the match, Waltman psychs out Jarrett by tagging him on the back when he's fucking crossing towards his side of the ring. Gets him real bitch made.
Yeah.
You seem like spooked. So they do a bunch of shit. Classic AJ Styles dropkick spot. Brown tags in, Waltman tags in. The face with some tandem offense. Doing their shit. Monty Brown reverses an Irish whip, catches Waltman on the way back from the corner with a huge lariat. Decapitates the kid. Big slam. Tag to Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett does like one kick. Tags Brown right back in. Clubbing blows to the back. Doesn't know what he's need, but Monty Brown doesn't know what he needs to do next. He's doing clubbing blows to the back.
Yeah, you just whenever you don't know what to do, you just do the clubbing blows to the back. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, so then Waltman starts fighting back, and Jarrett rushes into the ring, tries an up and over on Waltman, but he sees it coming. Bronco Buster on Jarrett, and we see Abyss suddenly start standing on the ramp
He's just standing there menacingly,
with his chain.
yeah. Looking all perverted and
Working
fucking,
the camera, too. He's working the camera.
He was working the camera.
And so AJ gets Monty Brown in position for a Bronco Buster, but he reverses it. Stiff dropkick off the ropes by Jeff Jarrett. The Jarrett drips Waltman on the middle rope and hits the leg to the back gimmick. Hit the ropes and you leg him. Does the strut. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. And Jarrett is doing his thing. Monty Brown gets back in the ring and he pinballs Waltman off a corner. Multiple backbreakers. Jarrett tags back in. And Jarrett locks in the sleeper hold. And we're slowing this shit down, baby. Waltman fights back. He gets him right back in another sleeper hold. He says, bitch, we are chilling out.
Yeah. Chill out. Slow it down, kid.
Yeah, so then Waltman escapes that one. Hot tag to AJ. He clears house. Runs wild on Monty Brown and Jeff Jarrett. Springboard double clothesline. Jarrett pulls down the rope as AJ comes by and crashes to the floor. Suddenly, Waltman is the legal man in the match.
Yeah, I guess lucha rules. I don't know.
So he gets in the ring, starts doing shit. Jarrett gets his guitar, and Monty holds Waltman up for him.
Yeah. All right. So
Then a schmoz.
Monty has Waltman in a full Nelson, and then Jarrett just gingerly walks over to the corner while the ref is looking at him. Then he grabs the guitar while the ref is looking at him. And he gets into position as the ref is looking at him. And only then, when he's finally about to swing it, does Rudy Charles finally stop him. And then Don West says, "Good on Rudy Charles." No, Don.
He should have stopped it when both men were in the ring.
So after that, he fucking mushes Rudy in the face, which should have been a DQ, obviously. And then, as that is happening, Waltman low blows Brown, does a switch, gets him in the full Nelson. Jarrett sees none of it, immediately turns around and El Kabongs Brown right in the forehead. And then Brown bumps, gets up, and then bumps again, so he can bump into position for the next spot.
Yeah, so he bumps into position for AJ, who's back on the top rope. Hits a spiral tap for the win. And on the ramp, Abyss is just fucking spazzing out. He's going crazy.
What I liked as, Brown got up and bumped again, as he was staggering to bump the second time into position, Waltman was like holding Jarrett down in the corner, down at the bottom turnbuckle, so he couldn't go anywhere. I thought that was kind of cool. And then, AJ hits the spiral tap for the win, and Abyss is fucking spazzing out.
Yeah, you had a full-blown seizure on the ramp.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So that was the May 27th, 2005 episode of TNA Impact.
Not a terrible episode.
No, it was a decent show.
Yeah.
I mean, the main was fine. The work itself on the show was perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
Minus some rough spots in that that Naturals match. It was a little rough.
The main was the best match, other than the questionable officiating, of course. But
That's just TNA.
That's just TNA. But I mean, overall, it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, and of course now we're gonna have to figure out some fucking magical way to watch the next 3, 4 episodes of TNA Impact, because they're simply not on Impact Plus for some reason.
Not looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll require some research by our team of scientists, but I'll be sure to contact them at the conclusion of this recording.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get them on that for sure.
And so, it's time for us to do a little nerd speak, a little geek talk, if you will. As you know, if you've been listening to the podcast for the last 2 episodes or so, you would know that we're giant geek-ass, nerd-ass, loser geek losers, and we love ourselves some goddamn anime.
Yeah.
On top of a lot of other nerdy geek things that we like out there. But, you know,
Anime is
just aggressively...
number 1 aside from wrestling.
Yeah, anime is just also aggressively a cousin to professional wrestling in almost all ways. And so this week we thought we'd talk about, you know, in the first episode of this segment, we talked about Goku.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's cool and all, but I know that there's some motherfuckers out there
Like me.
that are huge Vegeta gang. And so we thought we'd speak a little bit about how Vegeta is nothing more than a B+ player.
And it really does pain me in my heart of hearts as a self-admitted Vegeta fanboy. I mean, Vegeta is my favorite character in the show. He's based and red-pilled and gamer cracked. And most of the time in my eyes, he can do no wrong except when he's written to do wrong. And that's not very cool. Especially because we know Vegeta is very strong. And
But he ain't Goku.
no, he's not. But there are definitely times in the series where he's surpassed Goku.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Randy Orton.
And Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yep. Always
And The Rock.
number 2. Even when you're number 1,
Yeah.
you're still number 2. Because of course.
Of course you'll get your shine.
Because I mean, you can't argue that there are points in kayfabe of the Fed where Randy Orton wasn't positioned to be better than John Cena. There certainly were.
Just like when Vegeta came in and wiped up the floor with Android 19.
Just fucking dicked on him super gamer style.
Yeah.
But then you meet, you know, your Android 18s and your Undertakers, if you will, that, you know, halt you in your tracks, slow you the fuck down, kid, because you got a little bit too much momentum for me and my liking. I think what you need is a little adversity. Let me put this headlock on you and break your damn arm.
Pretty much. I mean, the most unfortunate part is, all right, so full disclosure, as giant Dragon Ball fan, I am not caught up to the manga, and I haven't been for a long time. Probably will after this arc is over. I'll probably read the last ones that I missed. So I mean, there's only been like 2. Fuck, there's only been 2. So I'll read those, but yeah, I know that Vegeta gets thoroughly cucked
Multiple times.
and even when he got the win, he didn't because of course.
The one time he got the win, it was his win, but it was also not only his win,
Yeah. So
despite it being his win.
yeah, I mean, Vegeta is The Rock. He's Randy Orton. He's
Randy Savage, he's Seth Rollins.
I mean,
You're number 2, kid, no matter how much you want to be number 1.
He's number 2, and he is a valiant, and a respectable, and a strong, definitely worthy number 2. But unfortunately, still just number 2.
Well, that's what he gets for being short.
I guess.
Vanilla midget. Vegeta.
I guess. But I mean,
You know, he's only 5'4", dude.
aside from, you know, first/final form Majin Buu, colloquially Kid Buu, Vegeta or Goku hasn't really been taller than many of his opponents either.
Yeah, but he's still taller than Vegeta.
Yes.
And Goku's still one of the taller characters in the main cast. I mean, he's taller. Tien and Piccolo.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Probably Yamcha, if not the same height.
Okay, well then he's in the top 3 or 4 tallest in like a 10-person
There's
cast.
also Gohan.
He's the same height as him.
Yeah.
Anyways, Vegeta is always number 2. He's a B+ player. And he'll never truly overtake his John Cena, his Steve Austin, his Hulk Hogan, his Roman Reigns. Simply never overtake him.
No. And it's genuinely unfortunate. Because, of course, you know, The Rock had his reign when Austin was injured. Warrior and Savage had their reigns, and then Hogan got it back. Fucking Rollins held the company down
For a whole year.
but they kept putting Roman
Above him.
him in the hierarchy of kayfabe. It's just like, and I mean, it's the same as when Cena was main eventing pay-per-views over WWE champion CM Punk.
Mhm.
Like,
You're just number 2.
just number 2. I mean, you're just not
The guy. You're just not that
just
guy,
not
pal.
the guy.
You're just not that guy, pal. Just not that guy.
Not the draw. Just not for you. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we will simply have to live with it. Honestly. And so that's that. And speaking of the draw, you know, I'm sure anyone, you know, can remember back about 15 minutes when I complained that there was no Buck Quartermain on TNA Impact this week. So I looked up I went on Cage Match. I looked at Buck Quartermain's profile. I looked at all of his matches to see where I could find some goddamn Buck Quartermain. I'm fiending for Buck Quartermain content, people. I need it. Favorite jobber to the stars. So on Cage Match, I see, because I already know that Buck Quartermain had a stint with the WWF in 1995. I was already aware of this. So I went on Cage Match and I looked at who did he work with in 1995. I saw names like Jeff Jarrett, and I saw names like Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and I thought to myself, well, goddamn, pal, I need to see Buck Quartermain lose a match to Triple H. So I go on Cage Match, and I see that match is from the June 5th, 1995 episode of Monday Night Raw. And now, I'm going to tell you like it's straight. I'm going to tell you straight. I was lied to.
Yeah,
There was no Buck Quartermain. There was no Triple H in sight on this episode of Raw. And now I'm still happy I watched it. It was a fairly decent show.
Yeah, it's a fairly decent show.
But not only did I get cucked by TNA, I got cucked by Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Twice in 2 days.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Honestly, I can't believe it. So, of course, for this week's Blast from the Past, Brother segment, we watched the June 5th, 1995 episode of WWF Raw.
The Buckless episode, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and it's horseshit. And I swear to God, one of these weeks, won't be next week, but one of these weeks, I'm going to find an episode of Raw with Buck Quartermain on it. And we, as a community, will rejoice.
See, I figured that it was a dark match, and then, you know, you checked Cage.
And it said it was on the show.
It said it was on the show because, you know, it states which matches are dark matches and which matches aren't. So I was like,
What the fuck?
debated. Yeah, I don't know.
Cage Match lied to me. I can't believe it. I thought you guys were cool.
Guess not.
And so we open this episode of Raw with Bob Backlund outside the arena screaming,
Bob Backlunding, just
being a fucking maniac. He's
Yeah.
campaigning to be the president. I assume the United States.
maybe, I guess.
They're saying the president of what? I don't know.
They just said the president.
Yeah, so Bob Backlund is outside yelling at people, being a fucking weirdo. And then we go into the building where we have Vince and Jerry Lawler running down the carpet tonight. Super weird to see Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler running down an entire episode of Raw at the start of it.
Yeah, it's almost like they knew what this card was going to be before they started the show. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's crazy. I couldn't imagine that.
No, doesn't make sense to me.
So then after that, we have Jerry, who cuts a short promo on Bret Hart on their way to a Kiss My Foot match at the upcoming King of the Ring pay-per-view. And we go into competition where we have the apparently debuting, Savio Vega versus Kenny Kendall with 2 L's.
So, he's debuting, and they said that at the end of the match, but...
It seemed like they knew who he was.
Yeah, it seemed like they knew exactly who he was. So that was weird.
Yeah, it's like everyone had seen him before.
Right, and Lawler was going on about how he got Vega cut into his head, or he had his name cut into his head.
Yeah, I got his name
under it, or his WWF under it.
Yeah, he got a haircut where they shaved his name and the WWF logo into the back of his head.
Yeah, and Lawler was like, "Oh, let me stay away from that barber."
What does that mean? It looked cool.
I don't know. Yeah, it did look pretty cool.
Being a weirdo.
Yeah.
So before the bell, jobber dude Kendall attacks Vega, but he gets immediately overwhelmed by the actual talent.
Yeah.
Jobber has some of the shittiest work punches I've ever seen.
They were really bad.
He was winding up super far back and stiffing him.
Yeah, like, why? I don't. Why his wind up was awful, and then when he came in, he still fucking stiffed him. I'm like, what are you doing?
He's throwing potatoes.
Yeah,
baby.
he's just throwing potatoes.
Bunch of wrestle shit. Vega locks in an octopus stretch for a quick submission for the win.
Yeah.
And then we get a promo for Diesel that airs, and then we cut backstage to Ted DiBiase and his boys. I presume Psycho Sid could be Sid Vicious. I don't know. I don't know shit about fucking new generation bullshit. I don't know shit about that. And we see, so it's Sid and DiBiase with Tatanka, who I did not recognize all the racist shit on him.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, who's this dude?
Just some random dude with long hair.
Who's this guy?
He wasn't even like big. He was just a guy.
He was just a guy. Yeah.
So then we see Chris Candido and Sonny as they prepare to debut as the Body Donnas.
I
didn't realize I accidentally picked such a debut heavy show.
Yeah, it was real weird.
See what happened was I wanted Buck Quartermain, but they gave me Chris Candido instead. Yeah. And that's a worthy trade.
Yeah.
And I'll take that, but I'm still looking for Buck.
True. There was the little promo with Sonny and Chris Candido. Chris Candido was running up and down the steps, and Sonny was like, "We're the Body Donnas, and he's gonna win."
Yeah.
And he won.
Yeah, so we move on to the match where it debuts. It's Barry Horowitz versus Chris Candido with Sonny, the Body Donnas.
So really shitty looking arm drags from Horowitz, which I guess the fault really lies on Candido
for bumping weird.
But
they were both doing it.
Awful. Yeah, this looked really bad. These arm drags were out.
Yeah, they did arm drags and hip tosses.
What the fuck is that? I didn't even recognize the first one was an arm drag because it looked so bad.
Yeah, it was just throwing each other around each other.
Yeah, it was real bad.
It was like that woman spot where they did the hair pull thing. But instead of a hair pull, it's a body pull.
Yeah, instead of with the hair, it did it with his fucking arms. It was real weird. This was a real nothing happening match, honestly.
Yeah, a bunch of bullshit. Horowitz with a Thez press, quick 2, and then a top rope leg drop from Chris Candido for the win. Yeah. God, that ring is so stiff. Never do a leg drop on it, even from the mat. Don't do leg drops on this shit. That's horrid.
It was no give at all. Anybody who bumped on this ring, I was like, oh man, I would not want to be you right now.
For real. And then we cut to Todd Pettengill at the control center. I presume he is breaking down the King of the Ring brackets with his King of the Ring report, talking about hypotheticals and this and that, and what if Mabel beats The Undertaker, and then we see Shawn Michaels versus Mabel, and what if Bulldog defeats Owen Hart later tonight?
He's just telling you how a tournament
works, really. Yeah, he's explaining a tournament to people as if Maybe in 1995 people weren't so familiar with tournaments or something. I don't know. There's something wrong with
I
these
suppose so, but there's already been like 3 King of the Rings so far. Pay-per-views, I mean.
Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is. And so then we move on to Owen Hart with James E. Cornette and Mr. Fuji versus the British Bulldog in a qualifying match for the final spot in the King of the Ring, in which we were told there must be a winner. Spoiler,
Yeah.
there's no winner.
Yeah, no. No, there's no winner.
So this match is a 15-minute time limit.
Yeah.
Owen and Davey Boy do good wrestle things.
Yeah, I wrote the exact same thing. They just do great wrestle things. At one point, you know, Owen reverses a fucking hammerlock into a Skywalker.
Yeah,
he just
he just jumps over the Bulldog, over his shoulder.
Yeah. So I thought that was really sick. Bulldog looking way more athletic than I thought. At one point, he had the fucking drop down leapfrog toss with the leg gimmicks.
He did like a monkey flip gimmick to him.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa.
And then Bulldog gets Owen up for a very, very long, delayed.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
Very
30
long.
seconds in the air. And the whole time, Mr. Fuchs on the outside waving his
Just
Japanese
waving the
flag.
flag.
Yeah, I love Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Owen loves Japan. Didn't you know?
Yeah, big Japan guy.
Big Japan guy.
Then, of course, he drops him with a suplex. Owen comes back with a kitchen sink knee, stomps a mud hole into Davey Boy Smith. Stiff, very stiff, elbows to the neck as a Bulldog is draped over the apron, face up.
Yeah.
Just
So
dropping elbows
this
on his neck.
match just reminded me of a match that we would have seen in TNA, and what I mean by... Alright, so the psychology was much better considering who was in the match. But the way that they were moving from spot to spot to spot to spot, I was like, damn, I really expected more selling between these two.
Yeah, there's not a lot of selling in this match.
No, there's not a lot of selling at all. The psychology was great. The technicality was flawless, but there's not a lot of selling. I was just like, I mean, and I get it because they had to work toward the finish.
Being
But I
a
feel
non-finish.
I feel like if you would have sprinkled in a bit more selling, the finish wouldn't have been so clusterfucky.
Yeah, because at the end... Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So they go to commercial. We come back. Owen Hart crushes Bulldog's face with his fucking leg layer. He
Yeah.
gets him.
Yeah.
Bunch more bullshit. Owen locks in a sleeper hold. Bulldog gets up to his feet. Big back suplex.
Big back super.
Thought he was going to sheer drop him on his
I
head,
did too.
honestly. After that, off the ropes for a sunset into a cover for 2 on Owen. Then a stiff enziguri to Bulldog. He has a flip bump.
Does a flip bump, yeah.
Fisherman suplex by Bulldog. Owen kicks out. Kurt
kicks
Hennig
out.
is pissed.
He kicks out. When he kicks out, he actually like slaps Bulldog's stomach. I thought that was kind of cool. So he kicked out, with his right arm over his left shoulder, and he like attacked Bulldog
hit him.
as he was kicking out. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like Kurt Hennig over in WCW was
He
not
was really
impressed.
fucking. He's like, "What the fuck, guys?"
I thought we were cool.
Yeah. So after the perfect plex, or after the fisherman, Bulldog gets Owen in a surfboard, and then he gets the shoulders down, so he has to let go of the surfboard, and then he does a cover, 2 count. After the 2 count, they go into a whole bunch of shit now.
Yeah, because commentary's letting us know that we're down to the final 30 seconds of the match.
Well, at this point, when the surfboard was locked in, they said we're down to the final 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the surfboard is finished, we got 30 seconds, removed. And then they just started doing a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah,
and
they're
then,
just doing moves.
And then, they do everything so quickly. Then I really didn't have time to write anything down. And then commentary is like, we're down to the last 15 seconds. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, they were moving
So
fast.
there's just near falls after near falls. And not only the near falls, they're still doing moves.
No, yeah, they were
in
doing
between
shit.
All this shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
So
like there were small
there were
packages
small
here
packages
and there.
Yeah,
And then-
Owen went for a pile driver at one point. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
They were still doing shit. And I was like, wow.
And then it all winds up with Owen going for a backside with 2 seconds left.
Yeah.
1, 2.
Bell
Bell
rings.
rings. He thinks he's won.
Yeah.
Of course he hasn't. And like we said at the beginning of this match, there had to be a winner, right?
Right?
Wrong.
No.
It's a draw, and both men are disqualified from the King of the Ring. The defending King of the Ring, Owen Hart, is
Yeah.
not even allowed to participate in this year's. Pretty fucked. they say after the main event, when they run down the card for next week, they have a different match set up for that spot.
Now, I understand that they cared more about the championships back in the day, so it makes sense not to have your tag champion lose, Owen Hart.
But it's a singles match.
But the singles match, well, yes, but you don't want anybody taking the fall if they're a champion. I guess that's the thinking. However, it's fine to have him win this match and then just get knocked out in the first round.
That too.
Because you can say, I mean, well, I guess the tournament is still like 3 weeks away. But you can say that, like, oh, you know, he's had to wrestle matches up until the tournament, so of course he's not going to be fresh having to defend his crown. Because it's not like an actual defense where the two finalists then face off of the previous king. No, it's whoever gets to the finals is crowned the new king.
Yeah.
So if he gets knocked off in the first round, it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, fuck you.
Yeah.
So the match is determined as a no winner. Jerry Lawler has a nasty foot fetish.
Yeah.
He loves feet.
He says that he hasn't fucking washed his feet in 2 weeks, and the pay-per-view is 3 weeks away.
So he's not going to wash his feet for 5 weeks.
Yeah, by the time, what is it, King of the Ring comes around.
For the Kiss My Foot match with Bret Hart.
For the Kiss His Foot match. I don't know why he needed 5 weeks worth of fucking
foot stink. To make sure he knows. Yeah. That's what it is.
I guess so. He's got his feet out, and Lawler is like fanning his fucking nasty ass bunion feet to the crowd. Look at my feet, baby. He's like, "Hey kid, swim my foot." So you know when that's happening, Bret Hart's cutting a promo. I wasn't even listening because Lawler kept talking over him.
Honestly, I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, so
Bret Hart was in the ring with Vince McMahon cutting a promo, talking about his upcoming match with Jerry Lawler, and of course Jerry's at the desk, just shoving his feet in random children's faces, saying, "Lick my toes and suck my toe, Jay, you little fucking cretin, and
real fucking
smell it, smell it." That's what he was doing the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty based.
I don't know about that one.
No, the talking part was based.
Talking over Bret was based. What he was saying, I don't know if the content was based.
No, but the fact he was doing it was based. And so then, you know, Bret Hart says some shit, whatever, talks about his family, leaves. Then we go to the main event, which broke my heart when I realized there was no Buck Quartermain on the show. We had Jean-Pierre Lafitte versus some local talent.
Yes.
It could have even been, I would have even taken Buck Quartermain. But no.
No, we had to get
some random dude. Jean-Pierre beats the shit out of the jobber for like 10 seconds, hits a swanton bomb for the win.
Yeah. Hits a fucking tope con gyro. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that was the main event, by the way.
It was like his second or third move. He throws the jobber out and just hits a fucking tope con gyro. I was like, well.
There's a second move. He hit tope, threw him back in the ring, swanton for the win.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck?
So that was real weird. And then after that, they cut to commercial. And then cut back to Bob Backlund being Bob Backlund, a fucking weirdo. It's late at night. Everyone's gone
pitch
home.
Black. There's no one even there. He's still yelling.
Darkness. He's still yelling. They're interviewing him, and he's just spouting nonsense. And then Vince has to cut him off, and then he runs down next week's card.
Mm-hmm.
That's the show.
So the main event went about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
3 moves. That's based. I mean, I said when the match was over because we watched it together. I mean, we literally watched it right before we recorded this.
Yeah.
But I said, a match that went a minute, that's awesome.
I mean, yes, it is. But fuck, I would have just preferred the Owen Bulldog match as the main, if that were the case. Okay, yeah, fuck me, but damn, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck me for wanting good wrestling to end the show.
What do you mean that was good wrestling? He did good wrestle things. He did a tope con gyro and he did a swanton and he won.
Okay, yes. That is good wrestle thing.
Yeah, bro, he hit an outside dive and then won. What more could you ask for?
All right. You know what? You're right.
Thank you.
You're right.
That's right. See, if I gaslight you into thinking I'm right, then I'm right. And speaking of right, I'm right when I say that was the June 5th, 1995 episode of WWF Raw.
Yep.
And this has been episode number 26.
26.
We're over a quarter of the way to 100, baby. 26 episodes of the Taking Liberties Pro Wrestling podcast. You can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/TL Pro Wrestling Pod. You can also donate to our Patreon if you're feeling a little crazy, feeling a little cracked. Just toss us $1 or $2. We incredibly appreciate it. It's never required. Just listening to the podcast is great support. You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/TL Pro Wrestling Pod. You can find us on every goddamn podcast platform you can think of, including Bullhorn. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
And of course, Apple Podcasts, where you can leave us a review. That would be incredibly appreciated. And of course, we thank you for listening. This has been the Taking Liberties Pro Wrestling podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
See you later, guys.